So sleep, are you getting enough of it? I know that I am not. I will be the first to say it. But here's something that I did not know. The fact that I may not be getting enough sleep could be impacting the morality of everybody in this studio. Ethical decision making. And it might be my fault. Christopher Barnes is a UW professor who studies sleep and the impact the lack thereof may have on our workplace. So sleep can actually impact ethics and morality in the workplace?
Yes, this is true. So when we look at behavioral ethics in the workplace, one of the important parts of this is self-control. We face a lot of temptations in the workplace to do bad things, and most of the time we're able to use self-control to overcome those temptations. But when we're short on sleep, our ability to exert self-control suffers, and as a result, we're more likely to behave unethically. Even the same person on different days might be ethical or unethical, in part based on how much they slept the night before.
So it's not just me making a bad choice about eating that donut or not. I mean, it could be big things that I'm making bad choices about.
Exactly. So in my research, we've looked at things like taking credit for other people's work or putting the blame for your own mistakes on other people, and these sorts of ethically charged behaviors that occur in regular organizations.
All right, so sleep is clearly important to make better decisions, but what if it's not my sleep? What if it's the boss's sleep that's impacting us?
So some of my newer research has examined how the sleep of one person influences outcomes of other people, specifically looking at the leader. So in one study, we examine what we call abusive supervision, which is basically having a jerky boss. So we find that when the boss gets a bad night of sleep, that boss is more likely to behave in a jerky manner towards subordinates. And as a result, those subordinates are lower in work engagement that day. So we're seeing that the leader's sleep influences the work engagement of the subordinates.
So if a company wants to maximize production and productivity, you'd probably want to make sure the boss gets a decent amount of sleep.
Yes, and it goes beyond just production as well. So another paper of mine, we show that charisma is influenced by sleep deprivation. So in a laboratory experiment, we sleep deprived half the participants and then had them give a speech. And those speeches were rated as lower in charisma for sleep deprived participants.
Wow, interesting. So what about my relationship with the boss? Is that impacted by sleep as well?
Absolutely. So this is another project that I've conducted. And we found that when leaders are sleep deprived, they engage in more hostility in the workplace. And as a result, the subordinates perceive their work relationship as worse with that leader. And of course, when your relationship is bad with your boss, you're not going to be nearly as effective as an employee.
Wow. I'm wondering what about policies or like examples that the boss sets? You know, this is the way it's going to be done. If they're sleep deprived, are they setting bad examples for us?
Exactly right. So this is some of my very newest research, not yet published, but basically my colleagues and I show that when bosses set a bad example with regards to sleep, like they're sending emails at 3 in the morning, and when they expect others to do the same, respond to those emails at 3 in the morning as an example, we find that those subordinates do indeed sleep less. And as a result, drawing from my previous research, we find that their ability to resist those temptations to behave unethically is also impaired. So in other words, when leaders devalue sleep, their subordinates sleep less and are thus more unethical as a result.
Oh my gosh, so it's at every level. So really, literally one bad apple in this sort of bunch really can spoil the ethics and the morality of the business.
Yes, and this is surprising to most managers to think that my thoughts about sleep would actually lead to unethical behavior in my subordinates. I think what they're doing is they're trying to get more work out of their employees, right? Encouraging them to work longer hours, and they don't realize that as a side effect, they're creating more unethical behavior in those same subordinates.
Wow, really fascinating research. Appreciate you being here very much. Chris Barnes with the UW Foster School of Business. Keep up this great research. I want you back on the show because I want to pick your brain.
Will do.
Thank you very much.